All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking Jessie Lipscomb's incredible book, The Art of Doing, and turning it into a real actionable guide. We're going to break down exactly how you can stop just thinking about things and start building the life you've always imagined. This quote from Maya Angelou just nails the whole spirit of what we're talking about today. It's not just about ticking things off a to-do list, right? It's about how we live, with passion, with joy, with a bit of style.
I bet you have. It's that phrase that gets stuck in our heads, the one that makes us feel like we have to pick just one thing. It holds so many of us back from exploring all the things we're passionate about. But what if that's not a weakness at all? What if it's actually your superpower, just waiting to be unlocked?
So, what's really stopping us? Well, a lot of the time, the biggest obstacle is the one staring right back at us in the mirror. It's that feeling of being stuck, that fear and self-doubt. And understanding that is the very first step to breaking free.
Here's a kind of a hard truth. You get good at what you practice. And unfortunately, that also applies to procrastination. Every single time we tell ourselves, oh, I'll do that later, or my dream can wait, we get a little bit better at stalling. It becomes a habit. We become experts at the one thing we never wanted to be good at, putting our own lives on hold.
Okay, so we've looked at the barrier. Now, how do we smash through it? This brings us to the core idea in the book, a huge mindset shift. It's all about changing why we do things, moving away from a place of fear and starting to run toward what we genuinely love. This right here is the central philosophy. Think about it. So much of what we do is driven by running away from things. Fear of failure, fear of what people might think, fear of disappointment. Lipscomb's big idea is to just flip the script. What happens when you stop running from fear and start running toward what actually brings you joy? And you can really feel the difference when you see it laid out like this. Running from fear feels heavy, right? It's all about obligation, anxiety, and all those what-ifs. It just drains your energy. But when you make that shift to running toward love, suddenly you're fueled by joy, by passion, by being your authentic self. The whole energy changes. It's no longer about what you have to do, it's about what you get to do. So how do we make this practical? How do we actually start doing it? Well, it can all begin with our first actionable method, and it's all about harnessing the incredible power of one tiny three-letter word. To really see this in action, you got to hear this story from Lipscomb's own life. He was on the set of a Michael Jackson movie, and he'd only said yes to a small acting part. But that one yes put him in a room where he overheard the producers saying they needed music. So he said yes again, even though he had 0 recorded songs. That led to him frantically forming a group, recording music in just 2 weeks, and bam, his song ended up in the movie. It's just an unbelievable chain reaction, all from one yes. And that's really the heart of it. Saying yes is a catalyst. It's the total opposite of being stuck. It forces you to move, it creates opportunities out of thin air, and it pushes you into new places, whether you feel ready or not. Okay, so saying yes opens the door, but then you have to actually walk through it. And this leads us to the next big idea, which is basically about the physics of getting stuff done. This is Lipscomb's formula, and it's so simple, but so powerful. Just a tiny bit of action, any action, creates movement, and that little bit of movement is all it takes to kickstart momentum. Once you have momentum, you're pretty much unstoppable. I mean, think about this for a second. When he decided to write a musical in college, he had 0 experience in pretty much everything he needed. He'd never written a play, never composed music, had no clue about costumes or choreography, but he didn't let what he didn't know stop him. In the end, his lack of experience just didn't matter. What mattered was that he took action. He wrote that first line. He found someone who could play the piano. He held that first audition. The simple act of starting was more than enough to build the momentum he needed to see the whole thing through. It reminds me of something Quentin Tarantino said. A director doesn't need to know how to do every single job on set. They just need to know how to make their vision a reality. You focus on the what, and you can find the people to help you with the how. The first step is all that matters. Okay, so we've covered the mindset and the methods. Let's bring this all home and talk about a real, tangible tool you can use to put all these ideas into practice and start creating the life you actually want to live. I love this idea so much. Treat your life like a business. Jessie Lipscomb Incorporated. This little SWOT analysis gives you a bird's eye view of, well, you. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What opportunities out there just light you up? And what kind of tasks or threats totally drain your energy? This isn't some boring business exercise. It's a roadmap for your life. And this is what it all boils down to. This is your permission slip. You don't have to wait for anyone else to give it to you. You have permission right now to try stuff, to experiment, to discover, and to find joy not just in the final result, but in the actual process of doing. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about next week or next month. Based on everything we've talked about, what's one small yes you can say today? What's one tiny action you can take that will create movement, start building that momentum, and get you one step closer to the life you really want?